you smell what the Rock is cooking?
Welcome back to the Watch So Series podcast. Brandon and Rashanii are back, and today we have Stephanie joining us again, a friend of the podcast, and we are here to review The Rock's, as you can tell by the theme song, new film, Skyscraper. Father goes to great lengths to save his family from a burning skyscraper. That's the synopsis. Stephanie, since you're the guest today, what do you think about this film?
I absolutely love this movie, but after seeing all the trailers, I kind of knew I would. He's my favorite impossible white man. He is my absolute favorite because he's brown.
He was impossible. He was very impossible in this film, actually, if we're being completely honest. Rashanii, what'd you think? Overall thoughts?
Shit was triggering as fuck.
Oh!
Well, I'm just going to put that out there right now, and then we're going to go into what's good about it. It was a good movie, but it was triggering as fuck if you don't like heights, which I don't. And so the shit was shitty because of heights. And there's other things I want to get into. But bottom line is, it was a Rock movie in the summer. The Rock is the new Will Smith. All he does is summer movies like this. And Jumanji was a summer movie in the winter. Same shit. Rampage was a summer movie in April. Same shit.
Oh, Rampage was horrible, though.
Let's talk business. So, What'd you think about the movie, Brandon?
All right. See, I feel like we've done this like the last couple movies we've done. I love these type of movies. So I saw this earlier. I had a screener for this. So I'm in there with like the screener people, and that crowd is a little different than like your normal paying crowd. So they're like taking this movie very serious, and I'm just laughing throughout the entire film. And it's because I didn't take this movie serious at all. This movie, I'm not going to say this wasn't a bad movie, but it wasn't a good movie. It was kind of like The Rock was so serious. He was playing his role so serious, and I wanted him to like have more like fun with the role, and he was just like taking it so serious. And but I did enjoy the movie, and I'm going to talk about all the stuff that made me laugh in this movie because I was just laughing throughout this movie. So the basic premise of this movie is The Rock plays a character by the name of Will Sawyer, which, by the way, is like the whitest fucking name ever. Like,
see, impossible white man.
Why does it? I think he had a different name. I think he had like a black type name in Rampage. What was his name in Rampage?
Wasn't it like an African last? Wasn't he like South African or something?
I think he had an African last name. It was Davis Okoye. So he had an African name in Rampage, but in this movie he's like super white. Like not even like just a basic name. Like Will Sawyer is like super, super white. And so Will Sawyer is like a former FBI hostage negotiator type dude. And he basically had this accident where his leg got blown off. Part of his leg got blown off, so he's an amputee now. And he got out the FBI and he started his own business as like a security consultant for buildings. Basically like telling people how safe their building is and if it's up to code and all those types of stuff. And he gets like this hookup to do like this basically the tallest, richest building in the world in Hong Kong. And he comes out there and it's a plot to steal something from the person the owner of the building, and his family gets caught in the building in a fire and he tries to go save them. Did I do a good job there, Rashanii?
Yes.
So that's the basic plot of this film. But there's not like the story is very, very, very basic. Like there's no There's nothing to this story. It's just basically this dude want to save his family, and there's a bunch of bad guys there who's trying to save him. Also, this film doesn't have really any actors that most of you guys would know. I mean, Neve Campbell, she was in the Scream movies. I actually haven't seen her since the Scream movies. I don't know anything she's been in besides the Scream movies. And Pablo Schreiber was in there, but of course he was the villain because, he's just got one of those faces. What'd you think about the casting of this film, Rashanii?
That nigga looked like Kylo Ren, and nobody ever says that, and the shit's starting to irritate me. Also, it's good that The Rock said, you know what? I need to be the star of this movie without a shadow of a doubt. So if you put anybody in a movie who's been in a movie in the past 8 years, I'm out. And they were like, but we already cast Pablo Schreiber. And he was like, who? And they were like, Pablo. And he was like, who? And they were like, that nigga from the Thief movie with Ice Cube Jr. And he was like, oh, that nigga. Okay, well, kill him in the first 10 to 15 minutes and I'll sign. Otherwise, and I was talking to my beloved wife, Nisha, because that's what we do in movies. We sit there and we talk shit through the movie about how this movie starts off with them going to a hostage situation, and The Rock convinces this guy to let go of the hostages, which are his ex-wife and his children. But the guy is holding his son in his arms. So the guy puts his son down. It turns out he's wearing a bomb vest, and he detonates the bomb vest, which apparently doesn't kill anybody. Because Pablo Schreiber was there too.
He just got his neck fucked up.
He got his neck all fucked up. Like, did he turn and run? Because his neck got all tore up and his face is fine. Like, did that nigga say, I know what's about to happen, and he got caught at the door or something? But the thing I was telling Nisha was about how unfair it was that Pablo's neck was all fucked up. His neck looked like a breathing tube. And The Rock, his face was all fucked up when they went into the hospital. But when the movie starts, he looks just like The Rock again.
Also, by the way,
he has no scars. He has no nothing. And people are like, yeah, nigga, but his leg got blown off. Okay, first of all, if your leg gets blown off, you should have fucking died. Okay, like if your leg gets blown off, I'm expecting some damage to your face. That's only fair. If your leg gets blown off and your face still looks like a baby's butt cheek, we got issues with the movie immediately. And I was like, wait, how'd she fix his face like that? And then he falls in love with his wife. The way him and his wife meet is as he's dying on the table. His wife is a surgeon. I'm like, that's a captive audience for your ass.
No. You're underselling this. Let me tell you something. This is how this movie presents this. They are rushing him in a point of view camera. So, I mean, not a point of view camera, in like a up close camera, an up close shot of his face on this gurney, rushed into the hospital. And then they switch to a point of view camera where you're looking from The Rock's point of view while he's on this thing. He sees a blurry picture of this woman who comes in and says, "You're gonna be okay." It fades to black. You come back out. It's apparently now The Rock is with his 2 kids and this woman in this fucking building. Like, that is how they introduce you to his wife. There's no story. There's no backstory. It's just like, yeah, she fixed me and then we fucked and then we got married. Like, that's what you're supposed to assume is what happened. Stephanie, what did you think about how the beginning of this film?
So, yeah, I'm telling you, this is a part of the impossible white man. It was on brand. I was very like, oh, wait, how did you fall in love with her? She was a surgeon that fixed your leg. What?
How does that conversation even go?
How does that even work? I mean, do you ask her for coffee when you being wheeled out to go home? I mean,
so it's like clearly there's some post-op, right? So like he ain't just like come out of surgery and just go home. So he had to be in the hospital for a while. So like every time she came to check on you, you just like flirting with her, like just flirting with her. Like y'all having dates at the doctor. Y'all watching the hospital TV, eating hospital food together.
She's pulling like cute little pranks on him and shit. Like, you hit my leg again, didn't you?
How much
you hit my leg?
How much you bet The Rock asked her to like rub one out under the sheets in the hospital? I bet you that happened. he looked like the type of person that would do that. I'm just saying. So then we get to Hong Kong, and and they're in this like sweet ass fucking building. Like this shit is so like this building is so ridiculously over the top. Like everything in this movie was over the top except like The Rock's like emotion. Like for a guy that's like trying to save his family, he had no emotion through the whole film, but everything around him was ridiculously over the top. So this guy, his name is what's the guy's name who owns the building?
Zhao.
Is it Zhao?
Zhao, and then I can't remember his last name.
Zhao Ming?
I don't even see him on
Okay,
here.
second.
Oh, Zhao Long. Zhao Long Z.
That was
Z.
it. They combined, yeah.
Zhao Long Z. So basically, he's like this rich person who built the tallest building in the world. It's like 300 stories high. It's got like everything you could possibly think of, including like a 20-story park in the middle of it, like indoors. Like it's absurd. And so The Rock's like, I'm gonna go get this money. And by the way, I read this. I've read this in a couple reviews, but like, have you ever noticed that like in none of these movies, The Rock ever is like loving his wife? Like it's always like,
Yeah. Oh, I noticed.
he's like never. He's either like they make a reference to he's being married, but they don't show it, or he's there and they kind of got like a buddy relationship, but it's never like anything that makes you believe like these people are in love. And so The Rock's just like talking to his wife like, "Oh, this is my buddy. I'm gonna go get this money," and they give like the cute like the weakest peck on the cheek, like on the lips, like, "Mwah, I'm going to get this money, honey." And then he does the corny shit with his kids. So I've seen some reviews of people didn't like the kids. What did you guys think of the kids?
I didn't like the way he pitted them against each other.
I didn't realize they were
Who
twins.
loves daddy? Me. We're not trained seals out here, Rock. You're not going to make them compete for your love, Rock.
Yes, he is.
You don't even ask the wife if she loves you, Rock. You just talk to the kids. Who are you? Michael Jackson, Rock? I'm sorry. I shouldn't have done that. When this is a prime chance for a R. Kelly joke, Rock.
R. Kelly Rock?
R. Kelly, Rock.
What did he do to R. Kelly? What did he do R. Kelly like?
Saying this is a prime, opportunity because Michael Jackson's dead, so I decided to just talk about R. Kelly for the rest of his day.
Oh my God.
Jeez, you casting aspersions on Will Sawyer.
Mike had the ultimate out clause. He passed on, so can't mention him.
So we usually don't go through scenes like this, but I feel like we should on this movie because it's so ridiculous. So also, so then he goes and meets this guy, and listen, they did some really good editing in this film, but they also did some like really interesting edits where he basically shows up to like do his presentation for this. He's like freaking out at home, like, "Oh, I'm so nervous, but I gotta get ready. He basically shows up, and next thing you know, they cut to, and you guys have met all the checks. like that's your whole presentation is 5 seconds. It just shows some buttons going all the way up green, and like everything's good to go. And he's like, "Yeah, so long as I make this outside headquarters, we'll be good to go." And I'm like, this ain't gonna go well. And from that point, that's where you see Paul Schreiber for the first time, and you see Noah Taylor's character, Mr. Pierce. And I'm like, these niggas is bad. Like, did y'all notice? Did y'all get that from the beginning? Because I picked it up right at the beginning.
Oh yeah. Anytime you show people who are just look, if a white guy walks into your building carrying a bag, just get the fuck out. Just get out. And I don't know how his wife recognized the name of the bag was a parachute company. I don't know how she pulled that off.
She's an impossible white man too.
Maybe it's from being in the armed forces for a while, but she looked at that bag and was like, Siren, what does that mean? What does that mean? White woman powers activate. And she was like, oh yeah. But whenever that happens, whenever your homeboy is texting too much, like out of nowhere, and then looks all worried when he looks down at his phone, when you ask what's going on, he's like, nothing. I bought the kids stuff that I don't even need them to have. Everybody was suspect. Everybody.
Yeah, so then you basically find out that they give him this iPad that has complete control of the building, and immediately you're like, oh, they're going to try to take this iPad. They're setting him up, And what do? They set him up, and but apparently he outsmarts them. So he get back to the room and he pulls the iPad out, and Paul Schreiber's character, who doesn't have a last name, he's just Ben. Ben is like, "Oh, you got the iPad." And he tries to do the like fake like happy surprise thing, like, "Oh," and he's like, "Oh yeah, luckily I put it in my pocket." And I'm like, "Well, there's the first impossible thing that happened right there, because we did not see you put it in your pocket, sir. We saw you put it in the bag. When did you switch it to your pocket?" And then you get the first fight scene of Ben, like, the typical, "You shouldn't have done that, Will. I can't believe you had to do this. Now I've got to kill you." So, Stephanie, what did you think about this first fight scene between one-legged Rock and Pablo Schreiber?
When that leg came off, I was like, "Oh, is he hopping around?" I was like, "This is peak impossible white man. How are you still? Why you got one leg and you still kicking his ass?" I mean, Porn Stash was holding his own, but still, I was like,
he kicked him in the leg too.
Leg.
He was so petty. The first thing he tried to do was kick him in that bad leg.
Right. Then he was like, "I'm gonna take this leg off. That'll give me some leverage." And then it didn't, and you just go, "Wait, what?"
I felt inspired. Because of all those times that people will look at you and say, "You got as much chance as a one-legged man in the ass-kicking contest." Guess what, motherfucker? The Rock said I could do anything. Like, Ben.
With one leg.
One leg. I'm going to hop around and drop kick you. One leg.
Yeah, but here's the thing that wasn't impossible. He ain't killed nobody this whole damn movie. Like, he's supposed to be fucking killing people. He ain't even killed Ben. Ben shot himself on accident. He shot himself on accident, and the Rock's was like, "Okay, Ben, hold up there." I'm like, "Nigga, he just tried to kill you. What the fuck? Get out that building. You black, nigga. You in Hong Kong. And there's a white dude dead in Hong Kong in a hotel room. Get the fuck out of there." And he up there trying to take care of that dude. And so then he run away. And that's when the police think he a bad guy. And I was like, well, that's real.
Wait. We forgot to say this at the beginning. I'm so sorry. The Rock presents Skyscraper. Presented to you without commercials by Duct Tape. Duct Tape. It literally does every fucking thing.
Oh, yeah.
Literally.
This is the duct. Isn't this where he first used the duct tape?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, this is where he first. The duct tape was a reoccurring character in here.
The duct tape was his Reginald Bell Johnson in this movie.
The duct tape makes plenty of appearances, and duct tape has more impact on this film than any other character except Nev Campbell, and that's very close together. They're very close tie, very close to second. So he gets out of there and he's running back, and then by that time they had already hacked his shit, and they steal his shit from him. And from in the building, and they go and they hack the building, and next thing you know, the building's on fucking fire. And his family, who's not supposed to be back, they're supposed to be at the zoo looking at the pandas. They had to come back because the little boy had an asthma attack, and they just so happened to be on the floor right where they wanted to start the fire. So the fucking bad guy's like, "We're gonna start the fire on the 97th floor," and conveniently, the Rock's family's on the 98th floor, like one floor above that shit. I was laughing so hard in this film. And they were like, "You're not supposed to be here." And then they look shady as fuck walking through the building. And I'm like, "Woman, you can't tell that these motherfuckers is shady? Get the fuck out of there. Like, what are you doing? Get out of there." And so they start this fire, and then the Rock sees the fire from a long way. He tries to make his way over there. So, Rashanii, are you... Yeah, go ahead, Steph.
I'm sorry. Can I just say how they softballed in that the son had asthma?
Right.
Yeah.
Like, it didn't come up until, like, they are surrounded by smoke. Your brother has asthma. Wait, when were we going to discuss this?
Also, the asthma popped up and went away whenever it was convenient for the story.
Right. I was like, wait.
Well, they did say, he had a situation with the pandas. When they went to Panda Express, and the pandas did the panda thing, and he had an allergic breakdown or whatever and had to come back early, and that's why they were in the building, because he had a panda issue. I don't know what happened. I do know that the villains in this movie were awful.
Horrible.
Like, they really used the wrong villains in this movie. They featured way too much on that white guy when they should have been that woman, whatever her name was, because they didn't give her a name.
Right.
Oh, she got a name. Her name is Zia.
Yeah. Okay. Uh-huh.
Yeah. I'm glad you picked that up.
Oh, no. Oh,
He's
no.
on IMDb.
Listen to this. On IMDb, I think it's this woman. There's a woman on IMDb played by Beatrice King, who that doesn't even sound like an Asian name. She may be Asian. Maybe I'm wrong. I'm not going to assume. But there's a woman named Beatrice King, right? In her IMDb credit, it just says Asian lady.
No. Good night. Good night. Good fucking night.
There's another one that says
all those Asian people in this daggone movie, and it's just Asian lady. Which Asian lady,
and look,
bitch?
she's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7th build. She's right below Chorus Botha, the bad guy. Asian lady's the 7th build person on the fucking film.
Asian lady. Lord have mercy.
Asian lady is the build above G.
Ow.
She was. That's why they named her G, because they were trying to say she should have been the star in this movie. And instead they kept saying G because they had braces.
Oh my goodness.
G was killing everything moving. G was ruthless. G was phenomenal. G, for some reason, was second fiddle to a guy who couldn't even act. And I don't understand. I don't get it. G should have been like everything in that movie. Seriously. G was like, she was sarcastic. She was ruthless. She was killing people. She had access to the codes. She was murdering people for no reason. She checked off every box the villains have. And then you go to this white guy in a white suit looking like a snow patrol nigga. And it's just...
Snow patrol.
Why are you here?
My goodness.
He was horrible. So
He was awful.
This is when the real Impossible White Man stuff started. So first, The Rock gets surrounded by a bunch of cops. Right, and I'm like, all right, you should have made it at least a plausible situation for him to get out of this situation. This was completely implausible. A one-legged man surrounded by cops. Somehow he got out of that shit and fucking stole a motorcycle and rides it to the fucking building. First of all, he sees the building on fire, and then they pan over to the building next door. And I'm like, this nigga's really thinking about this. The whole time, once he gets to the building, and we gotta talk about this. It's like OJ in '94. Everybody is watching this shit on fucking TV. Everybody's watching. All the people in Hong Kong are just watching this shit, just watching it. And I'm like, I can't. I mean, if I saw a nigga in Hong Kong doing this type of impossible shit, I'd probably be standing there watching this shit too. So I can't lie. I watched it in the theater. You think I wouldn't watch this shit in person? I think that shit would be great. And then, okay, I'm gonna skip ahead a little bit because we're going a little slow. So let's get to me. Maybe you guys have a different candidate opinion, but the most impossible white man thing in this film is this motherfucker climbing a crane 100 stories. 100 stories.
That's the part where my eyes close.
Oh, you didn't watch this? Oh,
I watched it.
It's so good.
I seen it because I was used to it from seeing it on the previews and all. But watching somebody climb 100 stories with one good leg, and you know that the way that the crane is set up, he ain't able to actually lift his leg high enough to get to each step. And you know that as he goes higher and higher up, being the analytical overthinker that I am, I know that the wind is whipping the higher and higher up he goes, and that he's probably, his arms are tired and his legs are tired. His leg is tired and his stump just wants him to stop, and he keeps climbing up, and I just felt ill, and it was bad. The best thing about it though, my wife never saw the previews.
Oh.
She didn't see the previews. She didn't know what was about to happen when he went up on that crane, and she was shooketh. Like, I was shook because it was high up in the air, and I'm like, I just don't like that thought. But she was shook because it looked like he was gonna fall a couple times, and she treated it like it was a horror movie, and that was glorious.
Listen, not only was the crane like 100 stories itself, the crane was already at the top of the building that was already 100 stories. So he's basically 200 stories in the air, like Rashanii said. No wind at all. Like, the wind is dormant. At this, like, apparently while he's climbing, the wind is dormant. Do you know how hard it is to climb the damn fucking rope in gym class? This motherfucker climbed 100 stories with one leg. Just basically pulling himself up there. Gets to the top, and he's not even breathing hard. He wasn't even tired for climbing 100 stories. Then he fucking locked the door and tried to swing the fucking crane shit so that he could. Apparently, he thought he was going to run down those ropes or try to, like, grapevine down those ropes. Like, what was he trying to do initially before that shit fell off?
I don't know. I don't know, because he's still a one-legged man who's on top of a crane at 1,000 million feet up.
And when
I don't know.
When that motherfucker, go ahead, Steph.
No, go ahead and finish.
When that motherfucker started running on that crane and they were shooting at us, so somehow they get up there, and it's a helicopter up there. So you got a helicopter and police who took the elevator up because they smart. Took the goddamn. First of all, if the elevator was there the whole time, he should just took the goddamn elevator.
Nope.
He climbs up there. Then so if you guys have seen the crane, it's not that big, and there's holes in there. This motherfucker is running full speed with one leg on a crane, like the skinny part of the crane, and then jumps at least 30 feet. It had to be 30 feet, at least, away from the building, and fucking makes it. I was laughing so hard in the theater. I was literally laughing out loud, belching in the theater at this fucking scene. And people are looking at me like, why is he laughing? And I'm saying to myself, like, this is so ridiculous. How are you not laughing? This is absurd. Stephanie, was this the most impossible white man part of this movie, or did you like something else better?
Oh, no. My impossible part was him putting duct tape on his leg and climbing the side of the building with some duct tape. I said, bitch, no. Hell no. This is not real. You know what? I bet you 11 people went out to buy some duct tape. Like, I wonder if this works. That was my impossible white man moment, was him climbing the side of the building with some damn duct tape.
Not even that. You forgot the end part of that is there's a fucking wind turbine that's spinning like.
Oh, yeah, that part. Yeah.
He timed it like a video game.
I was like, how are you not dead? And then getting inside the turbine and then getting back out.
And he jumped out. He didn't even time it. He just jumped.
I will not die, guys.
That nigga was 945 feet in the air.
See, I'm like Rashanii. I have issues with heights too, even though I love roller coasters, but I still have issues with heights. So it didn't bother me too much when he was climbing. As long as it wasn't like a lot of shots of him looking over the edge, I was good.
You know what bothered me?
What?
Every single time that nigga jumped for something and missed and had to grab on with one hand, and every single time that he slipped and his leg fell off, and so he had to clutch on to the leg with one hand, and he's already got shots in his arm, and he's already been injured from being shot by Ben. How in the fuck are you holding on when you got shot through the bicep at the beginning of the movie? Can anybody answer that for me? Have you ever been shot before, Felix? When you get shot, everything hurts. You don't just stuff a piece of toilet paper into it and keep it trucking. That doesn't work. Nigga, you jumped from a 945-foot crane into a building. The impact should have crippled you.
Oh,
how does this work? How does this happen? What are we talking about? And look, I can suspend all thought and know that this is a summer movie, and it's a summer movie featuring The Rock, so some rock shit is going to happen. I'm okay with that. How the fuck did his daughter get up to that waterfall so quickly?
Oh yeah, she definitely did. By the way, one of the things I did enjoy is they gave Nev Campbell something to do. So she
Right?
she wasn't just like the damsel in distress, which I enjoyed, and she was kind of impossible herself because she got away from those motherfuckers when they first set their floor on fire. Then she fought, like she beat up one of them, and then she like jumped across the bridge that was breaking, and she was figuring shit out. She knew every fucking language. She knew where people were from. She was like, the police was like, what does the guy look like up there? Well, I believe he's Scandinavian. And I'm like, how the fuck you tell he's Scandinavian? Like, what gave that away that he's Scandinavian? And then he was like, then she was like speaking Chinese. She was speaking Chinese, the Mandarin, whatever they speak, whatever language they were speaking in the film. She knew that shit. Then she figured out where the people were going to land when they left the building. And then she fucking fought the badass fucking Asian woman. Like she was.
Yeah, and didn't die.
It didn't die.
That woman was killing everybody. And then all of a sudden, Nev Campbell could hold her own. Nigga, get the fuck out of my face with that. Yeah. That made me mad too. Like, I was like, if she don't die, if she do not die, if she don't die, she ain't dead. Oh my God. Somebody, how is she not dead? And then they had the unmitigated gall to have her get the last hit in.
Oh yeah, she kicked the shit out of her. That was funny.
Right? Like, what? You should be getting your ass whooped by this woman. She whooped everything moving except for Nev Campbell. Let me see. What else do I going to say? It's fucked up how they left the daughter behind, ain't it?
How about that? It was like, wait, why we not? Wait, what?
Well, technically,
she's not in the elevator with y'all.
Like, the daughter's going to need a gang of therapy after this is all said and done. Like, 20 years down the line, my mom left me. She took my brother and left me. For the next 6 years, I just felt like she liked him better. I don't know why. I couldn't figure out why.
By the way, how impossible was it that The Rock knew like all these fucking sophisticated like mathematics shit? Like just out of nowhere, he's like, okay, the elevators work on something such a magnet. I'm going to break this thing, and it's going to bypass all the floors when I break the magnet. And then when you count to 5.5, you pull the emergency brake, and it's going to stop on floor 2. And that motherfucker did exactly what he said. Exactly what he said.
I'm losing count somewhere. I'm that high up, and you just cut this rope, and I'm like 1, 2. Oh my God, we're really falling. Oh my God, I'm lightheaded. Wait, what number was on? Shit, we're there. Die.
I guess
we just dropped through 3 fire pits, nigga. We going from the 98th floor down to 0. Yeah, I don't even do well on like Drop Zone. I don't do well on Lex Luthor's big push off the edge thing at Magic Mountain. I don't do heights. I'd be like, the quote of the movie for me was not even the movie. The quote of the movie was the part where my wife saw The Rock when he was first jumping through that window and was like, well, bye, family. I'm not going in there. I'm not jumping across that. I'm not dropping down that tube. I'm not doing any of that. It was nice. I'll make some more. Bye, family. And that's what I'm thinking. The thing that got me, there were so many things that got me. And you're going to be shocked when you hear the score that I give this movie because I talk so much shit about it. But the thing that got me was, how are the cops watching The Rock go through all this shit and they still think he's a fucking suspect?
That was funny as shit. And by the way, the one cop was cheering for him. Remember when he made the jump and they were all worried? And he was like, yes. Yeah. And that was before they knew. Also, I will say this. We got to bring this up. So the rich guy, Z. So basically, the reason why we find out that the reason why we spoil shit on here. So the reason why Botha is after him is because he basically had this deal before the building was getting built. They tried to strong arm him. And then he paid the strong arm fee, but then he did some voodoo hacking shit and figured out where they sent all the money to. And then he somehow got all the traces of all the money to all these thousands of accounts around the world and put it on a fucking cool-ass flash drive that I ain't never seen in my entire life that looked like that. And he had this flash drive, and he had it in storage because he threatened to hold it over them and take it to the cops so they come fuck with him again. So both of them tried to break in to steal that shit. So G's whole thing is he's protecting this shit. Rock's trying to get his family, and then they get to the top. Oh, by the way, we forgot the part where the Rock was hanging on to the fucking ledge by his leg. Remember
No, I just mentioned that.
His prosthetic leg with his hands.
Yep. Because if he didn't have the prosthetic leg, he would have died apparently.
And then remember he did all that shit with the wind turbine to open up the penthouse door, and the penthouse door is about to close, and he throws his prosthetic leg, and that shit perfectly lands perpendicular to the door to keep that shit open. That shit was so absurd. That shit was so ridiculous. And so then the final act of the scene. And by the way, like I said in the beginning, this whole time, The Rock is doing all this impossible shit we're talking about with little to no emotion. Just like the most basic look on his face. Just like, well, it was like, this is my job. Like, this is what I do. I'm about to go to work. I'm clocking in. I clock out when this nigga dies. By the way, none of these people he's killed also. So earlier in the movie, they show us this rooftop where it's like all this like cool shit and cameras and shit. And I'm like, well, the end of the movie is going to end here because why else would they show us this shit? Like, this shit is so pointless to the plot of this movie. Why are you showing me this unless there's going to be a bit set piece here? And look who won the pony. At the end of the movie, they're at this top of this building. And they basically had this whole fucking part of the building just so it could confuse people to know where people are coming from. That was the whole point of it. And then you had the big final showdown, and this is the way The Rock wins. Does The Rock do some really badass shit where he like mows down a bunch of people, beats the shit out of somebody, and then kills them to save his family? Or does he do like some real impossible shit? No. This is what The Rock does. He talks shit, the guy shoots him, and then he goes, one problem, I'm behind you. And he uses a mirror trick and then pushes the guy off the building. That shit was so ridiculous. Did y'all like that ending? I thought it was ridiculous.
Nah. Go for Stephanie.
I actually liked the mirror room, but I was like, this is a little bit too much. I liked it initially the first time we saw it when it was just, The Rock and Zhao. I thought it was really cool. So when it had all the, the bad guys and the guns and had the little girl running around, I was like, see, this is about to get on my nerves. But I thought it was a cool twist when he said, I'm behind you. I was like, oh, shit. Oh, you gonna kill somebody finally. Because I'm like...
He killed him on accident, though.
I just don't... I don't understand how that thing was supposed to be the ninth wonder of the world.
I mean, that probably would have freaked me out, though, when they did the reverse camera shit.
Nigga. It showed him standing over nothing. Oh, my God. Until that door opened and the dude walked out, I was looking down on my popcorn like why was I laughing through The Purge, but I couldn't laugh through Skyscraper? It's because they kept wanting to show us just how high up they are. When we all really know that this movie would have done the same exact thing if it was held in a 10-story Holiday Inn.
Okay, so yeah, let's get this out of here. This was basically reverse Die Hard. Like this was literally Die Hard. Like the entire plot of this was a Die Hard remake, except in the reverse, and it wasn't as good. I'll just say it. It wasn't Die Hard. The Rock, the problem with The Rock as an Impossible White Man is, at least in this film, is one, there was just like I keep saying, there was just no like desperation. It was just all like, this is business, just another day at the office for me, doing all this impossible shit. And when The Rock is fighting, I never feel threatened. Like in any of these movies, whenever I see The Rock in a movie that's like an action movie, I never feel like there's a threat. Because I look at The Rock and I go, this motherfucker is going to whip everyone's ass. Like nobody's going to beat him. There's no consequences to any of this shit because he's going to win at the end. So that was one of the issues I had with this film. I guess we'll talk about that now. Stephanie, are there any things that you didn't like about this film?
Oh boy. So the asthma thing really did bother me because I'm like, I feel like that boy should have been wheezing. This is like, you were in a smoke-filled building and even a regular person would have been wheezing, but it's like he wasn't wheezing. I'm like, what kind of It's like y'all dropped the ball on that. I didn't like how y'all didn't make that a little bit more believable. I didn't like. I have noticed that too in all the Rock movies. He'll have a love interest, but it will be no love. So when they actually kissed by the elevator, I was like, oh, it's about time because he'll never kiss nobody. But still, they didn't really show it. Right. So I think that's the other thing where I'm just sitting here like, when are y'all going to give him an actual love interest where he's actually going to do a love scene? Because he does them on Ballers, so it's not like he don't have a problem doing love scenes.
When he finally saw his wife, when he finally got to his wife, he didn't even kiss her. He just
right. I'm like, what the?
He just
she ain't happen. Man, let me tell you something. My man like climbed a building with some duct tape to his feet and went through a turbine and is on the roof shooting out stuff, pushing people off and I don't hop on. I'm like, if I don't hop in his arm and tongue him down, what the hell is going on here? It's like, what? What the hell?
You know how he was like, Daddy loves Sue, Daddy loves Sue. He should have when he finally got there to save her. He's like, he gonna be like, Sarah's gonna suck off who tonight? Sarah's gonna give hit who tonight?
And it's like, man, listen. It's like, child. So at first, whenever I watch the movies, I'm like, maybe he just doesn't do love scenes. But then I forgot about Ballers.
Yeah, he definitely did it.
Yes,
in Ballers.
He does. Mm-hmm. He does do love scenes. So I'm like, it's not that.
He don't never do them in these movies though. Ever.
Right, he don't. And I'm like, but you like simulated going down on some chick in Ballers, but you can't kiss your wife on camera? What the hell is going on here?
Rashanii, anything besides the heights that you didn't like about this
film? So Ben took the Rock to the boat. The boat takes the Rock to the intake facility that is conveniently located like 2 miles, 3 miles away from the actual skyscraper. They're having a good time, whatever. As far as I know, the Rock has never been to Hong Kong before. And as far as I could tell, he didn't have a GPS, just a big ass building in front of him to guide his way. But Ben took him everywhere. Ben took him into his hotel room and killed him, or he killed Ben. The Rock then leaves out of the building, and this before he even gets to the motorcycle, this before he even gets to the mob, this before he gets to anybody. He somehow knows how to get from where Ben lives back down to where the mob is, where the police are, within like 3 minutes.
Okay, to be fair, that building is tall as fuck. So
it is.
I'm pretty sure you can see that from anywhere. I'm just going to be like, I'm going that way. I'm going that way.
I'm going to keep going that way and run into buildings and dead ends and all that kind of stuff. And then he hops on the motorcycle. And at that point, I would have just fell out laughing if in the background for the theme music that was playing while he took the motorcycle, they just started playing Kendrick Lamar saying, "All my life I've had to fight, nigga." But he hops on the motorcycle. He peels off. Like you said, they do the slow motion pursuit after him. Nobody believes that he's innocent because for some reason they put him up. I know why they put him up as the perpetrator, because his biometrics were scanned into the iPad, which is supposed to be confidential. So when shit falls apart, the first thing this confidential thing does is blames Ben. Like, we don't even stop to see if his shit got stolen. We just gonna blame this motherfucker. That's what we're doing now. Don't you notice how people get shot? So Ben is now accused of doing something he didn't do. Nobody wants to believe him. Nobody wants to believe his wife. His wife is like, yo, look, let me figure out everything for y'all. Here's where they're going to land at when they jump out the window with that bag that I saw earlier. If we go there and they're not there, then you can arrest me, which Black folks have been trying that forever. Look, if you go to my house and the money that you're saying I took isn't there, you let me go. Nah, nigga, we here now. You just locked up. They go there and somehow find she and all of the other gangsters just standing there waiting, and they're all shocked like nobody fucking saw a bunch of cars just rolling up on them. I have a bunch of issues with this movie. I have an issue with the fact that when the fire was starting, she was like, okay, y'all go hide in the tub. It's not a drive-by. What? Why are we hiding in tubs? I have an issue with the fact that just like with the Jurassic Park, the fire is everywhere but on them. Nobody got burned up in this entire movie.
Nobody.
Nobody was even in threat of getting burned up. And again, how did the 9 to 10-year-old little girl get up to that waterfall when her brother said, I'm going to meet you at that waterfall? He turned around and looked at his dad who showed up, and then all of a sudden he's like, she's at the waterfall. How did it happen that quickly? Nobody wants to explain that to me. There were no steps. There was no nothing. Is she Laura Croft? Like, what happened right there? I need answers.
Laura Bencroft.
Exactly. And also, them kids were black. The Rock is black and Samoan. Nev Campbell is white. Them kids didn't look like neither one of them.
They just found some mixed kids.
Exactly. Hey, who want to be in this movie real quick? And before I forget, for the last time, I'm going to say this. Everybody's acting in this movie was horrible.
Yo, The Rock was trying to be so dramatic.
The Rock was trying to be so dramatic that he forgot to smile at any point. From the moment where he said, I can't learn these words, when he was trying to figure out what to say in Cantonese, yeah, he had a constipated look on his face from there on out. And he should have died a million times. None of y'all try this shit at home. Don't let duct tape get you fucked up.
No. All right. Before we get to the score, there's two things. One, I can't believe I thought this. I didn't think. As soon as you said something about Kendrick Lamar, I got a question for you guys. Do you guys think that The Rock will ever say nigga in a movie?
Hell no.
Nah. But I'm glad he did.
I want to hear him say nigga in the movie. That shit will be so funny.
I think that if he gets into a movie with black folks, he'll say it.
Have you seen The Rock's dad, Soul Man Rocky Johnson? He's about as black as you can get. Like, that is a black man right there. Rocky Johnson is a black man. The Rock, I guarantee you, Rocky Johnson, his daddy be saying nigga. So I'm sure The Rock say nigga when he's not around his white friends. He probably said it around them. But I just want to hear him say it in the movie. I just thought about that. I don't know why. I just want to hear him say nigga in the movie. Also, this movie bombed at the box office. It's just fucking horrible. Made $40 million.
Really? Oh, wow.
As it should. Come on now. The Rock makes movies that make him money, but he's not making movies that are going to be good movies.
Now, to be fair, this movie hasn't opened up in China yet, which is like his big fucking, that's his base. Like,
yeah.
That's where his shit is. Like, he make a lot of money. Rampage made like almost $200 million in China alone. So he makes a shit ton of money in China. And this movie was filmed in Asia, so a lot of them are going to like that. That's going to sell more there, too, to get some representation. Because they did have a lot of Asian representation on this movie, which was good. They didn't try to They didn't try to go to Hong Kong and just be a bunch of white people around. Like,
right.
They had, like, the Asian people watching it, Asian police officers. Like, so that was good. So we will see that. But this movie cost $125 million to make, and it made $40 million opening weekend. So it's got some work to do to get his money back. So last thing we do to get out of here, before we get out of here, is to score this movie from 1 to 10. So, Stephanie, what would you give this movie on a scale of 1 to 10?
Oh, gosh, a big number. I would give it a solid, and it's mostly for lust factor, a solid 7.
So you like The Rock with that gray goatee? You like the gray goatee? Oh,
absolutely. He was on zaddy status with that gray goatee. Okay, it's an old, and I don't know when this picture was taken, but it's a picture of him kind of looking off his profile, and it's him and his gray goatee. I was like, damn. I'm like, ooh, zaddy status. He's not Jeff Goldblum, but it's working.
Rashanii, 1 to 10. Where do you get this from?
I hate having to grade it on the curve that it's a summer movie, because if this movie was anywhere else, it would get like a 3. It would get a hard 3, but it's a Rock movie, and all of the Rock's movies are just like this. I give it a 5.5. I was gonna give it a 6.5, but then I realized that there's just stuff that didn't make any sense. Like the fact that nigga the Asian dude really pulled a gun on the Rock and was like, yo, I need to save this data, when he could have just scanned it, emailed it, Dropboxed it, anything to anybody throughout the world, and just been done with it a long time ago. I had issues, a ton of issues, but it's a summer movie, and y'all are going to really like it. If y'all like thriller, like heart-stopping action type movies, you're gonna love this movie. If you like The Rock, you're gonna enjoy this movie. Me personally, just me, The Rock, to me, the best movie that he did was probably the first one, The Rundown, I think it was.
God, I love The Run.
No, I like the fast movies. He's good in those.
Yeah, those count too. But I mean, as far as him being the focal point star,
yeah,
him being the focal point star of the movies, I think that the first one, when he was still just trying so hard, and he was still incorporating his wrestling moves into his movies.
he did rock bottom, that dude.
That was great for me. I feel like now he's just an actor. Like, I feel like we've lost something from The Rock, and The Rock still hasn't settled into his role as a actor. He's still getting by on that gorgeous smile and his muscles and his good looks. But I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if he was in the next Transformers movie. That's all I'm gonna say. He's at that point now. He could be in a Transformers.
Oh my God, those new Transformers movies are garbage.
And he'd fit in perfectly.
Oh my God. Yeah, I give this movie a 6. It's not a good film. It's a basic plot. It lacks very emotion. However, if you don't take this movie serious and you go there knowing it's ridiculous, you can laugh a lot at this movie, because I laughed a whole lot at this movie. And anytime I can go to a movie and laugh, that's good for me. So it gets a 6. It's funny when it's not supposed to be funny, and if you like that, you'll enjoy yourself.
And look. One last thing. There's literally no explanation at all for why that nigga runs faster than I do or anybody I know does with a prosthetic leg.
You know, can we talk about that? Because that got me. Like, in the beginning of the movie, like, he was kind of limping down the stairs, and all of a sudden he could sprint across a crane. I'm like, wait.
When he starts running as fast as T-1000, you know, he's limping at first, and then he gets into his traveling speed, and all of a sudden, like, do you know the level of science that has to go into calculating how fast he had to go to jump across that gap with wind going against him, because there was a fire in that building? So that means the air is pushing outward. He had to jump with a prosthetic leg off the crane. That's God co-signing what I'm saying, into a building. There's no way that happened. That nigga is ridiculous. It was amazing. 5. 5.5.
All right. I was about to call you Danielle. I'm texting her. Stephanie, sorry about that. Steph. Tell everybody about your show and where they can find it at.
Well, I am the host of the Mocha Minutes podcast. Oh, you can find the Mocha Minutes podcast wherever you find podcasts. I'm on Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, Google Play, TuneIn, iHeartRadio, and Spotify. It's a nice place where we talk blackly black shit. We lust over guys that look like The Rock and The Rock. Where we talk about current events, sports, politics, and sometimes politics adjacent. Ratchet reality TV. We talk about everything. Sometimes it's a mixed bag. So
did you watch the Love and Hip Hop reunion?
I did.
Did
You know what? I had quit this season like halfway through because, first of all, I want Rashida to have nice things. But what you won't do is stay with trash. Kirk is trash. I don't give a fuck how many businesses you fucking have. That is business. This is marriage. You are a cotton picking fool for staying with his ass. And I can't. I'm like, I give up. Because I don't see how that girl still got her teeth. Because I'm sorry, I'm not an advocate of, like have more anger for the woman. I'm like, no, you can have anger for both. Give Kurt more heat, but Jasmine would be missing some teeth. I'm sorry, she would. I'm like, I'd have to knock out a molar.
So like, who's that?
She walked too much.
Who is that thick ass Jamaican girl? I ain't never seen her before, and I saw her.
Like
on the
she's
thing.
new this season. I'm like,
that?
who the hell? And she's like, I got all these views. I'm like, baby, how you got millions and millions of views and nobody don't know who the hell you are?
I saw her yesterday. I said, who the fuck is that? I ain't never seen her before.
Oh, Lord, and oh God, and a lot of people, I guess people are thinking Tommy is the new Cardi B, but she's not.
Ain't she
Tommy,
getting married?
Tom, I don't know if Tommy's getting married.
No, I'm thinking about Bambi. Ain't they getting married?
I thought they were married already.
Oh, they already got married?
Yeah.
Oh.
Her and Scrappy are married. She's pregnant. I thought they were married already.
Look, see, I'm kind of hip on my Ratchet TV. What about your boy Stevie J? What did he do this season?
That little, he gets on my damn nerves, and because that's the thing. This season, Jocelyn wasn't there, so she didn't film. It was just Stevie, and he really wasn't there as much as I saw, and it was mostly, him and Estelita and Erica Mena. I'm like, why would y'all bring her here? It's like, ugh. I thought we got rid of her, and here she come back, and Stevie can't keep his dick in his pants, but I'm not surprised, not with the way he act. It's like, jeez. I'm like, he is annoying as hell. I'm sorry. I don't care if he got a big dick. I really don't care. I'm just like, how do y'all get to the dick? Because I couldn't talk to his ass.
Well, he give
I
you
feel
that
like
look. He do that look, and he rub his hands. He do the rubbing
he got
hands
that
thing.
weird, like, dog look. I'm like, what the hell?
You not hip on the Ratchet TV, Rashanii?
Hell fucking no. And it's not because I'm not saying it like I'm dissing anybody who does. It's just that we are so job busy with everything that we got going on that I just don't. No, let me be fucking honest. When Nisha starts watching Ratchet TV on VH1, I usually go to the movies. She watches something Ratchet on TV, I go and see Superfly. She watches Love and Hip Hop, I see Rampage again. She watches something else Ratchet, I watch I, Tanya. So we're both watching Ratchet shit. I'm just using MoviePass to get mine done. But I support it. I support all that Ratchet shit. I saw this one where they went to Paris and she didn't want the girl to go with her to Paris, but she went anyway, and who invited her? And then the girl who was having the birthday party in Paris gave her sister a first class ticket, and the rest of them had to sit back and coach. So they were all mad that they had to sit back and coach, and they was all greasy, and then things happened, and I fell asleep because fuck it.
And the bad part about it is I know exactly what you're talking about.
See, just so you know, I'm not fronting.
So just know that I might need Nisha for recaps.
Hey, go for it. She's all in. I am a huge fan of just watching my wife have the highest level of joy. Like, I am a huge fan of her smile. I'm just a huge fan of the way her eyes crinkle when she laughs. I'm just a huge fan of that. And if that comes from her watching that, we can DVR the fuck out of all of it, and I'll watch episode after episode while she giggles her beautiful ass off and not give one single iota of a fuck. So between that and baking challenges and food truck shit, I'm okay. I'm okay.
Look at you.
I'll let her know you want her to be on the show.
So adorable.
I would love it because I need to.
She watches all of them. She watches all of them. RuPaul's Drag Race all the way down. She watches all of them except for the ones with white people.
Same way. I gotta say this though. I am working really hard on my toxic masculinity and being a better man and not trying to look at everything from the male gaze. But I gotta say, when I come in the room, my wife's watching Ratchet TV, I just go, look how fine these women are. Like, I don't care if they being ratchet or not. They are fucking fine. That's what I say. And then I go somewhere else. But I saw the Jamaican girl, I said, damn, she's thick. And then I was like, all right, I don't care anymore. And then I was done. But that's all. I didn't get her name or nothing. So it pops out every now and then as much as I try to be a better person. But the VH1 brings it out of me. But yeah, definitely.
I must confess, my eyes are fixated on your dress. Sorry, that's a song from like the Above the Rim soundtrack.
Where did that come from?
When you were talking about, damn, she fat. I just think about that song. You bring that dog out in May.
That's true. But definitely check out Stephanie and the Mocha Minute podcast. It's great. Hopefully I'll be on there soon. Rashanii was on there before. It's a great podcast.
And I need both of y'all back.
Also, we'll be back. Also, remember to keep listening to Rashanii and the Single Simulcast. You can find it at singlesimulcast.com. You can find our show on iTunes, Stitcher, Google Play. Just search Why So Serious Podcast. Leave us a 5-star review. It helps us out a lot. And we will be back soon. Thank you.